Hey there, it is Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
Yeah, we found Stone Mountain. He's right there. Pastor Alan White of Mount Pisgah. See, he's giggling now. I mean, look at those guns on.
Look at
those arms.
Yeah.
My gracious.
They say don't skip leg day. So, yeah.
Hey, it's always great to hang with Pastor Alan. And we really wanted to talk about Camp Lighthouse this year. Last year, if you remember when we talked to Pastor, that, well, obviously they had to cancel because of COVID. And I think they did take some leadership and get them together to prep for this year. It's a different year. It's a different season, 2021. So let's talk a little bit about it. I know you're, pardon the pun, I know you're pumped about this, but talk about the camp and what's going on.
Yeah, so we started Camp Lighthouse. The property was purchased back in 2011 by a family at our church. And the vision is to provide a free Christian summer camping experience for kids that can't afford it. And so we partner with about 4 or 5 various homeless transitional centers around the Atlanta area. And so those organizations send campers to us for the entire month of July. And then high school and college students from our area, from our church, from the school that's attached to our church, some of our college students that have graduated and are coming back for the summer, they end up being our counselors and our staff for the summer. And so the staff actually pay to be there as a way of offsetting the cost. So it's probably less like a camp counselor job and more like a summer mission trip, since they're raising those funds. And then the campers, of course, are free. And so that's kind of the big vision for camp. But yeah, we had summer camp for 8 years straight. We kind of were building and building and building. And then, of course, last year we had to take a summer off, which was the right decision to make for safety purposes, but definitely a hard decision to make just because we were really hitting our stride. And so now we're excited this summer to get going again. But it's definitely felt like, trying to get that engine up and rolling.
Talk about the importance to these kids that get to come of being able to go to a camp. I mean, and like you said, they're able to come for free. How important is it in their lives that they have this experience?
Well, it's huge. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys went to summer camp growing up or a Christian summer camp. I grew up going to a camp called Camp Glisten in North Georgia, and those spiritual blips, I guess, on my journey were just really, really important moments. And the owners of the camp, their family name is the Tansies. All of their kids went to Camp Glisten as well. And it's a beautiful camp in North Georgia. And so all of us had these really important Jesus moments in our developmental years at camp. But camps like that can be expensive, and they have scholarship programs and things like that, as do a lot of other good camps. But there's a population that probably can't even still get access that way. And so the Tansies kind of took stock of where they were in life, I guess now 10 years ago, and said, okay, our kids have had this incredible spiritual experience through Christian camp and retreat centers. We really want to make that available to all kids. And so our target demographic is going to be kids that are in either homeless transitional centers or highly at risk and economically challenged areas of our city. And so the research that goes, if you follow Barna studies and things like that, is that a lot of people, I don't remember the exact statistic, but there's a lot of people that accept Christ during a summer camp experience, and definitely in their formative years of elementary school, middle school, and high school, versus once they get to adulthood. It's obviously not too late, but it's definitely harder to, I guess, kind of chip through the hard outer layer.
Right.
So being able to introduce kids to Christ and to help them grow in their relationship with Christ at a young age is so crucial. And camping experiences can sometimes be that mountaintop moment that kind of is the catalyst to push them forward. And so that's really what we hope to be, is kind of this joyful week during the summer for these campers to be able to have the same types of spiritual experiences that I had the ability to have when I was growing up.
Pastor Alan White is one of the pastors at Mount Pisgah in Johns Creek, and we're specifically talking about Camp Lighthouse. CampLighthouse.org is a great place to go to. Now, you mentioned, 8 years and then kind of a break, and I'm sure you guys had plenty of time just to kind of rethink and think and put together. How different in a great way is it going to be this year than maybe years in the past? Maybe you had some new ideas, fresh ideas.
Yeah, I mean, I think really we probably had a year to, we called it kind of our Sabbath year last summer. We had to kind of find a reason for it. And so gave the grounds a rest, gave the staff a rest, but we were able to meet as a leadership team, which before was the Tansey family and me. And now my wife has actually come on board as our first official camp staff person. Everybody else is there as a volunteer, but she works about 10 hours a week doing all of our admin and logistical support. And so a lot of the things we've done over this past year are, I guess, the COVID safe things to do, which is improving your systems and logistics. And so we're getting to a point where we're starting to be able to host retreat groups up there from churches from the Atlanta area. And really it kind of then operates as that becomes part of the revenue stream and resource engine to be able to support the funding of the summer camp, because it's a beautiful property. It's about 163 acres. It's got a 17-acre lake on it. It has 2 lodges that sleep about 70 people. So it's perfect for, a medium-sized church that wants to bring a men's group or a women's group or a youth group or whatever up there for a weekend retreat, or if a private school wanted to come use it, that type of thing. So it becomes a great resource for them because it's an affordable retreat model. But those retreats and the funds that we receive from those retreats go to pay for our campers and counselors over the summer. And so it kind of just creates a bit more of a sustainability model. And so that's probably the biggest changes that we've made, is that we've started to put in place the processes and procedures to be able to host more groups over there over the next, couple of years.
And how else can folks help? I mean, looking at camplighthouse.org, you can donate and help out in that traditional way. Tell how folks can help you guys out that way.
Yeah, so campers cost $150 a week to be able to cover their insurance as well as their food for the week. And so that's always the first level that we have anybody that wants to support camp financially start with. Just consider sponsoring a camper for a week. We have about 75 campers every summer. So we do 3 weeks in a row of camp, 25 campers each week. And so that's kind of the first level that we have is the camper scholarships. And then obviously we have some counselors that come up as well that cost about the same amount. Most counselors pay their own way, but of course we've got some counselors that can be tricky for. So we scholarship some counselors as well to be up there and serve. So financially, that's probably the best way to support it at this time.
Okay.
Pastor Alan White of Mount Pisgah in Johns Creek. We're talking about Camp Lighthouse. Go to camplighthouse.org. You got about 8 years of stories, and we don't have 8 years, but would love to hear the stories. Maybe one of your favorites over the years, where maybe a teen came in and eventually integrated, and their life changed, transformed.
Yeah, I think if I could have one story that I can really remember, it would be every Wednesday night. The campers are there Tuesday through Thursday. And so Wednesday night, we do something called Glow Chapel. So of course we have chapels in the morning and in the evening, but on Wednesday night, I use glow sticks to essentially kind of map out the gospel message on the ground for the campers. And so I did that one year. And what transpired after that was a lot of really beautiful faith conversations between the campers and counselors. And so we had several just wonderful stories that came out of that. But the added layer to that, though, is one of our counselors had never been baptized. And she, even during that moment in that week, kind of came to a new understanding of who Jesus is. And so she actually came back up a week later and was baptized in the lake at Camp Lighthouse.
Wow.
And so when I think about camp, it's such a layered onion of who it's doing ministry to and for. I mean, it's first and foremost for the campers, but then the next layer is it's a ministry to the counselors that get to be a part of it and the adults that get to be a part of it. And now that we're adding in the retreats, it's a ministry for churches to have an affordable retreat center that they can go to and have their own spiritual experiences in the beautiful North Georgia mountains. And so I think that story of Glow Chapel is kind of a picture of the layers of how camp impacts not just the campers, but also those of us that have the privilege of working there.
Alan White, you guys are excited about getting back this year after being off last year. You ready to get them going?
I'm ready. Yeah, we'll start up July 11th. So we're hitting that last month of working with our partner agencies and getting our counselors ready. And we're kind of watching some of the other local camp and retreat centers from a COVID protocol standpoint, really to see, where do we need to be in terms of COVID? And thankfully, most of our counselors have access to the vaccine. And so we're kind of working on what to do with that. but we have a small staff, so it's nice because we can be nimble and kind of make decisions later on in the month versus some of these larger camps that, you know, have hundreds and hundreds of people involved.
Right.
We're talking about Camp Lighthouse. You can go to camplighthouse.org and sign up. Here we are, June. So he did mention July the 11th. So the time now would be a time to sign up and give. Maybe you don't have a camper in the house, but you'd like to give. You can help out. You talked about some scholarships, which is awesome. Camplighthouse.org. If they have questions at all, Pastor, can they go there, or where can they go?
Yeah, if you go to the Contact Us page on the website, I'll actually direct you to, I believe, camplighthouseinfo@gmail.com, but it may not be the exact email. But if you find that email, that actually goes to my wife, and so she can answer all of your questions about booking camp. We're actually in need of a few high school age counselors. Our campers are all elementary school and young middle school, but then our counselors are either rising 10th grade through college. And so we've got a few counselor positions that are still open for this summer. And so maybe there's a youth group out there that has 2 or 3 kids that would love to do a local mission trip in Talking Rock, Georgia. And then they could reach out and kind of connect with my wife and take it from there.
Awesome. Pastor Alan White of Mount Pisgah and Johns Creek, we're talking about Camp Lighthouse, camplighthouse.org. Pastor, we appreciate your heart and what you've been doing for so long. It's going to be a great year. We really feel like that God's going to move mightily this year. And it's going to probably surprise all of us, right? How God's just moving in those kids' lives.
Mm-hmm.
Camplighthouse.org. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is Faith Talk Live.